This video is very specific video on OCI application for adult. And in case you're looking for minor child and spouse, I have made a separate video. And lot of people, generous people like you, have shared insight, pain points dealing with service provider, application mistakes. I have consolidated everything in this video. So once you go through this video, it's little lengthy, but the whole idea is that I don't miss out any point. Different circumstances, different documentation, everything is covered in this video. And this way, once you go through this video, you know what you're filling in the application form and what documents you're sending to the service provider, how to make sure that when you're going to the service provider, you don't end up spending money out of your pocket. And then there are several videos on OCI, advantage of OCI, experience of visiting India, and then also in case you have change of mind and you want to reclaim your citizenship, there is a video on this also. So make sure you watch these videos, that way you are up to date with the entire OCI thing. So without wasting much time, most of the talking I'll be doing on the computer screen, and this way you will get to see everything. You check the timeline in case you think that you are confident about a particular part, you want to skip, you can do that. But my recommendation is just go through this video once and you will find this worth spending doing your OCI application. So let's get into the computer screen. All relevant link which I'm showing on the video will be there in the description. So make sure you look at the description to find all the right links. If we talk about the realistic timeline of getting OCI, again, this is my experience. I have applied for OCI thrice. After acquiring citizenship, you would apply for your passport. In my case, I'm in Canada, so I applied for Canadian passport. After applying, it came within 10 days. Once that was there in my hand, I had to initiate for the surrender of India passport. So here the process is that you fill up the application online. I made a video on this. You take the printout of that application with attached document and fee, send it to the Consulate General or High Commission depending on where you are, and this happens through a Ministry of External Affairs appointed agency. In Canada, it is BLS. Singapore, if you're in US, Australia, it is VFS. You'll have to check your country who the appointed agency is, and you send this document to them. They in turn take that with the High Commission or Consulate General of India, and then you get your India passport, which is punched and cancelled written on the passport with a certificate of surrender. So that's how the surrender certificate process happens, and here the timeline is 4 to 6 weeks. So say it would take approximately 1.5 months for you to get this certificate. Only when you have this surrender certificate, and then the latest requirement of declaration where you have to cancel your voter ID and ration card, you can start with your OCI application. Once you apply for OCI, the timeline is 4 to 6 weeks. And so if you talk about in a straight line method, it's almost a little more than 3 months process from the time you acquire citizenship, you get your passport, surrender your India passport and get your OCI. In case you have any immediate travel plan after getting citizenship, you can go through my other video where people who had limited time and could not surrender the passport or get the OCI, how they went and surrendered this passport in India. The process is little expensive and it might also be time consuming. So be careful with this. However, there is a grace period for the travel which you can find. I'm sharing the government link where you get to see how this can be done. So this is the official link where you have to come and fill the form. And what is important is that you go through this requirement. If you have a question that can you apply for OCI while in India? So the answer is that you will not be able to apply while you are on a tourist visa, missionary visa and mountaineering visa. Moreover, you'll have to be ordinarily resident in India to be eligible to apply for OCI registration in India. So you need to have stayed for at least continuous 6 months. That is, the criteria. So the best way to do is do it from the country where you are currently from. And with that, here to proceed. This is a very important page not many people utilize the right way. First thing is, anytime you have a new OCI registration, by default, this page opens and you go through this prerequisite and then you proceed. So when you're filling your application, you have a option to come here and you see here document re-upload. So when you're filling the application, in case you want to re-upload the document, you can come to this section you see here and you can proceed from here. How we will get to see once we are into the video, and any image upload or signature upload you see, this is the place. Make sure you're using this. And also when you have filled the application here, until and unless you have done the payment to the service provider, in case you find any mistake with the form, you can just leave that form and create a new OCI registration. Whichever is the complete OCI application which you are confident that this is the correct one, make sure you're sending that application to the service provider along with the requisite document and the fee. If you wanted to know if you can create multiple application, so every time you create the application, you will get a unique code, and whichever is the complete application, make sure you're sending that application to the service provider. Here you can reprint the submitted application, and I'm assuming that you have gone through with this. Okay, make sure you're reading this. And then the prerequisite here, you need to have documents in PDF format only, maximum size 1000 KB. So I'll show you how you can make sure that your document is in PDF format in case if it is in any format, and also keep the file reference number of your application along with passport number. Now we are on the new OCI registration. Just make sure you're reading this entirely before you start. Prerequisite and after registration. So once you're done with, click proceed and go through this instruction for filling of application. I'll show you how this is done, but make sure you are reading this, and that way you will be confident of what is getting filled. Once you click I have read instruction, accept, now you will get this captcha which you have to enter and then enter. So here you see there are two sections: fill new application, complete partially filled application. So anytime you're filling the new application, make sure you're noting down that ARN number and you're saving the document as you keep proceeding with the application. That way, wherever you have stopped, you will be able to enter the ARN number here and you can resume your application from there. Make sure to note down the ARN number. A lot of people miss this and they have to start their application all over again. Once you click on fill new application, so this is the application form, and here you select the place of submission. I am selecting Canada, so you will have to select the country from where you are. So I have selected Canada, and then mission, for me it's Toronto. You will have to select the mission from your jurisdiction. So I have selected Toronto here. Then given name and surname as it is given in your current passport. So make sure you're not making any mistake. If there has been any name change between your current passport and your previous Indian passport, you have to give your current passport name here. And also, if there is any name change, you will be sending a notarized affidavit document photocopy along with the application. So that will go as a additional document along with the application. In case you have any confusion, best is to contact the service provider, check with them and make an entry. And whenever you're filling anything like this, XXXXX, make sure on a plain piece of paper, you are giving the explanation. If you have ever changed your name, you tick this box and then you enter your previous surname, name, this detail. So I'm unchecking this box. Coming to the sex, you select the sex and then date of birth. Make sure it matches with the passport. So your passport is the guiding document on which everything what you're filling will go in here. Date of birth is entered. Country of birth, again, if you are born in India, you will enter that detail. So for this application, I'm showing India born person who has surrendered the passport and is filling the application. If it is not the case, then you select the country of birth and state of birth that gets entered, and place of birth, current nationality. So this part, country of birth, state of birth, place of birth, it will already be there in your India passport. So just make sure it matches with the India passport because you will be submitting your India passport along with this, the one which is cancelled now. don't leave this national identification number blank, even though it is not having asterisk. Here you enter the citizenship number, which you will have on your citizenship certificate. Make sure you're doing that entry. Then visible mark, just enter the visible mark to best of your ability. If there are no visible mark, then you write no visible mark. So don't leave this blank. Again, depending on what you choose from here, marital status, separated but divorced, married, unmarried, divorcee, widow, widower, you will choose the option. Here I have chosen married, and when you choose the married section, then additional section opens where your spouse detail also you will be entering when you are filling this application. Applicant's passport detail, here you enter your passport detail, date of issue, expiry, place of issue. Now, if you're in Canada, you will have issuing authority mentioned, and like when I look at my passport, it says issuing authority Toronto. So that is what I have entered as place of issue. So make sure you're opening your passport and checking what is written. If there is any confusion, call up the service agency, and whomever you're speaking to, make sure you note the person's name, time and date when you spoke to that person, and keep that as a reference in case you want to contest anytime. Then previous passport number, here a lot of people have confusion. Is it the India passport number? The answer is no. This previous passport number will be in case you had, for example, you had a old Canadian passport which you renewed, and the one which you currently have is a different passport number. In that case, you mention your Canadian passport, the old one here. If not, just write NA. So in case you have just acquired your citizenship for a new country, your response here will be NA. Once this is done, in the applicant's family detail, in your India passport, your father's name and mother's name would be there. Make sure you are entering as per how it is given there, and whatever their profession was. So from this drop down, you can select the profession, whichever is the closest one. Now, in case parents are no more, still you choose their last profession, and that way your application remains complete. So make sure you're not leaving this blank, and once this is done, then the spouse detail comes. And here the question is, are you applying OCI on basis of Indian spouse's OCI card? Here, if you are a foreign spouse, then the response would be yes. And in that case, there are other things to be done for which I have made a separate video. So here the response is no, and then spouse name, spouse nationality. So sometimes the confusion is if both of you have gone with your citizenship process together and you're applying for your OCI card together, in that case, your spouse's current passport, if it is Canada passport, you will make that entry here, even though the OCI has not been got, even though surrender certificate has not been got. You would enter the current nationality because the nationality has changed now. In case it is still the old nationality, then you make that entry here. Then spouse profession, from this drop down, you can select any one of them, whichever is the closest one, and then date of birth, as it will be in spouse passport because that document will go. Then marriage registration date, it is as per your marriage registration document date. If marriage has happened on a particular date and the marriage registration happened on separate date, then the date when the marriage registration happened, that is the date you will mention. If you still need clarity, as I said, always call up the service agency and get clarity on what needs to be done. So then comes the passport number, passport issue date and expiry date, issue place. As I told earlier, it is going to be the same here. Now, relationship with the root Indian. Relation with root Indian, here it will be self because you have recently surrendered your India passport and then you're applying for OCI. Even if your spouse is still Indian, in this section, you will choose self. So I hope this makes it clear. And as you complete this form, make sure you are saving the form like this. And whenever you save, you get this temporary ID. So make sure you copy this ID and keep it somewhere. Just by mistake, if you exit or even for some reason you exit, you can come and start application from where you left. Make sure you copy this temporary application ID. In the occupation detail, you select the occupation from this drop down, whichever is closest. And in case you are a housewife, you select housewife. In case you are unemployed, you can select others and then mention the detail here. And also you will send detail on a piece of paper that I was employed in a private sector earlier and now currently I am unemployed. Because what happens is whatever occupation you enter here, that reflects on your OCI card for the adult. For the minor child, they don't mention, but for the adult, they mention the occupation, whatever is chosen here. So be careful and choose the occupation which is the closest. And let me select this. Then you enter the address of employer. In case you're self-employed, then in that case, you can give your address, whichever you have, and the contact number can be yours in that case because you're self-employed. And on a piece of paper, make sure you're making that mention that I'm self-employed. Hence, I have given the employer contact number as my number. So as long as you're able to explain and justify, that should hold good. Then coming to the applicant's address detail, make sure whatever document you're submitting, if it is a driving license, it matches with that address. So exactly the way the address is written there, make sure you're making the entries here. And the zip and pin code, you make an entry like this without any space. So I have shown for Toronto, usually this is how the code is. So without any space, this is entered. Mobile number, that gets entered. If you don't have a telephone number, enter your spouse's number. Make sure this is not blank. And if not, you enter your mobile number again here and the blank piece paper which you will be submitting. In that, you can add that I only have a mobile number. Then comes the email ID. So as long as you are not leaving anything blank, all is good. Once this is done, you can either save and exit. If you're saving and exiting, make sure you have this temporary application ID with you. If not, you can continue next. So once you click next, you see whatever entry you have made, the same entry is reflecting here. You get to verify this. So I always tell check, recheck, cross check. If you have any question, the best way is to connect with the service agents. If you're in Canada, you call a BLS and get things clarified. Once that is done, you can go and submit. This is the time when you can go and modify. If you click modify, you go back and you can edit the way it is. Once you submit, you go through and you feel that everything is correct, you submit. Then this is the upload section for the signature and photo. And here you can go through the uploading photo specification. I'll show you a simple way to make sure that it matches with the requirement. For the photo specification, you click here and this is the sample photo they have given. The size has to be 2 inch by 2 inch, 51 mm by 51 mm. And they have given how the background has to look. They have also given the do's and don'ts. So make sure you don't take photos like this and it is clearly visible. So they have given the sample, what is the correct one. You can go and read this document and how to check if this matches the required specification like this. For this, what you can do is you can come to this tool. The link is in the description. This tool Canva, once you create a design and custom size, you see here you can add the width and height. Right now it's in pixel. If you make it in inch, okay, remember 2 inch by 2 inch, you can create a new design. Or if it is in mm, 51 by 51 mm. So once you create a new design, this is the size of the photo, what is required. All you need to do is bring your photo and drop it here. So once you drop it, you see here, this is how you can just make sure that the size matches. If you have taken from professional photo studio, they will give this dimension and you can just come and verify the dimension this way. You will get to know that this is the size which is as per the requirement. And then you can go and just download this. Download as JPEG. So this is one way to make sure it is foolproof. Also to make sure that this is not larger than 500 KB, how you can check? Once you come to the photo, right? This is the photo. You see here, it shows 200 KB, which is less than what is given as maximum. So it is good. Even if you find that this is on a higher side, there is one more trick. All you need to do is open this in Paint, and in Paint, you have this selection here, resize or skew. So here you can just reduce the percentage. Instead of 100, you make it 50. And when you make this 50 and save it, the size also reduces. This way, you will get the desired size. However, when you download with Canva, it will give you a compressed form, and I'm sure the size will not exceed. So this is one way to make sure that everything matches with the requirement. The photo and the signature has to be in JPEG format. Make sure when you're downloading, it is in JPEG format. And when it comes to the signature, the ratio has to be in 1:3 ratio, height and width. Again, to do this, we can go to Canva. In Canva, create a new design, custom size. The size will be 3:3 will be the width and 1 will be the height. And here I have kept inch. Then you create a design. Now you see, this is the signature box, which will give you that 1:3 ratio. And again, now all you do is bring your signature. So here you can do a signature on a piece of paper. You can take photo through your mobile camera, or if you have a scanner, you can scan that and then bring this signature here like this. So this is it right now in 3:1 ratio, and you see the signature, you just need to make it to that ratio, ensuring that the signature remains without crossing this line. What I mean by crossing is when you take this is how it should not be. So make sure the signature is well within this range. And now you can download this as JPEG. Here you go, download and then JPEG. So once you download, this is your 3:1 ratio, what is required. The photo and signature both are as per requirement. We have made sure it is as per requirement. And then yes, I am ready with the image. Here you upload the photo. Once you upload, you also have an option to crop here. Okay. Right now we made this with Canva. So exactly the dimension matches. If it is not matching, you have an option to crop here. Once you click here, see crop, you can just drag and drop. So that way it gets adjusted and it shows the image, the one which will get seen here. And this is what comes on your OCI card. So once the crop selection is done, you just keep that and then you come to applicant signature section and upload. You can see here again the dimension matches. So there is no need to crop. If you feel like you need to crop, you can click here. So you can see here, it says applicant signature, which you have selected is as per instruction. If you want to change, then click crop button and drag the white selection area, or else directly upload the original image. So if you want to crop this, you can click here and then you can drag it if you want. This is something which can be done. Once this is done, just click upload. The image has been uploaded, your photo and signature, which will come on your OCI card. This is how it will be. So you'll be able to say this part. Now, this temporary application ID, along with this, you also note down your file reference number. So anytime you are coming back, you will be able to start from where you left. Here, you have option to upload this photo again, and signature also you can upload again in case you want. If you don't want to upload again, I have uploaded successfully. Click here and then your file reference number. As I said, this is your file reference number, and there's a list of documents which are required. Again, this could be confusing. Just follow the video and everything will be fine. So once you finish this part, come to proceed to part B. In the part B, just go through this detail one by one carefully. Have you, any member of your family, applied for Overseas Citizen of India registration earlier? If the answer is yes, they will ask for name and relationship, reference number, date when applied, place where applied, and status. If you open the old application of your family member, you will be able to see the file reference number written here and then the application date mentioned like this. So the other way to look at, which I also found out, is to look at the OCI card, and at the bottom section, either it will be in the front portion of the OCI card or at the back portion. In my OCI card, I'm able to see where my picture has been put with the signature. Just underneath, they have this file reference number written. However, I'm not able to find the date. What you could do is you could call up the service agency, give them the file reference number, and maybe they can help you finding the date. Or if that is also not a possibility, then they would suggest what to do. In most probability, they would just say write a handwritten note that you don't remember the date. So do check with this service agency. That way you are covered. Since they all have asterisk, you will have to enter the detail. Any of your family member did get OCI in the past. If you're applying together, then this won't be applicable. Let me make it no. And then, have you surrendered, got your previous Overseas Citizen of India card cancelled? You will have to choose your response. Here, the response is no. Whether holding dual nationality, if you're holding a dual nationality, then you choose yes. And then you mention the country and the country's passport number. Here, the response is no. Have you sought asylum? You have to choose your response. Whether the applicant has ever been citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh at any time, you have to choose your response. And depending on yes, you would have seen that for the citizen of Pakistan and Bangladesh, the OCI will not be given. You can check the information which was given at the start. Then, have you ever been convicted by court of law of any country? You have to choose your response. Have you been refused entry, deported by any country including India? You have to choose your response. Have you been associated with any organization, government or non-government political party, group accused of or guilty of any right violation? You have to choose your response. Have you ever been engaged in human trafficking? You have to choose your response. Have you ever been engaged in cybercrime? All of these, you have to choose your response. Have you ever, by any mean or medium, expressed view that justifies or glorifies terrorist violence? You have to choose your response. Whether either of your parent, grandparent or grandparents of applicant had ever been citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh at any time? If yes, give specific detail. Again, if you go and read the instruction, they have mentioned the date before which, if they were part, it doesn't affect. But if the date is after, then it becomes a challenge. So you'll have to go and read that instruction. Here, the response you choose. Whether the applicant, other than minor child, is working in armed forces, paramilitary, police, security, intelligence organization. If yes, give specific detail. No. Okay. Then, have you undergone compulsory military, police, home, conscription training in your native country? So you choose your response accordingly. Are you still serving in armed forces, police force beyond compulsory training period prescribed by rule in that country? You choose your response. Whether applicant is currently under any investigation, you choose your response. Wanted for questioning, you choose your response. Facing charges for any offense in any country, you choose your response. Once you do this, then comes present nationality details. Here, the applicant's name by default comes. The nationality will also show based on what you filled. This acquisition method, let me try to give you a brief. Citizenship by birth, this is no brainer, automatically becomes citizen just by being born there. For example, my daughter, she was born in Canada, so she is a automatically Canadian citizen. Citizenship by descent. This means you become citizen because one or both of your parents are citizen of that country. For instance, you now know that in Canada, if your parents are Canadian and you were born in any other country, you might still be able to get Canadian citizenship based on your parents. Citizenship by registration. This is the process where certain people who those with special connection to a country can apply to become citizen. For example, this might include a spouse of citizen or people who have some heritage or connection to that country. Citizenship by other means. This can be a special case where citizenship is granted under unique circumstances, such as exceptional contribution to country or other special criteria. For example, I'm sure you would remember this incident where an immigrant from Mali who was in France saved this child and he was immediately granted citizenship by that country. So these are very exceptional circumstances. And citizenship by naturalization, that is when a person who wasn't born in that country, doesn't have any parent from that country, goes through a legal process to become citizen. For example, I came here on PR and then I applied for citizenship, gone through the requirement, that is number of year, passing language, fulfilling other requirement, and I became a citizen of Canada. So in that case, citizenship by naturalization is what I would be selecting. So here, if it is naturalization, you would enter the date when you got your citizenship oath done and certificate. When did you get it? That date you mention. Okay. So once that is entered, other details, previous nationality, you have to choose your previous nationality. In my case, it is India. And then the passport number, that is India passport number, which got cancelled. Enter the India passport number. And then, do you have relatives staying in India? You'll have to choose your response, yes or no. My response here is yes. And I entered parent detail. Make sure the present address is in full, no abbreviation, nothing. And in case you have any question regarding which all relatives you can enter, call up the service provider, check with them and make an entry here. You can keep adding member as much as you want. In case parents are there, brothers, sisters, they are there, it's a straight case. Otherwise, just call up the service provider and check with them how you can enter this detail. Has any of the applicant faced criminal proceeding? You have to choose your answer. The response here is no, and then submit. See, while I was doing this application, the application did not go through, and now all I'm doing is I'm coming to new OCI registration. I have read the instruction and accept. So once this is done, enter the CAPTCHA, and here instead of filling new application, complete partially filled application. Click here, enter the temporary application IDs, and then enter the CAPTCHA. And now I'm back to the application where I had fit. So I can continue the part, click here, and then fill in all this detail again. This is the upload section. Once you click here, so there's a list of documents. You see here, current passport, for example, the Canadian passport, which is the new passport, the information page will get uploaded. In Canada passport, only the front page has the information where your photo, signature and other details are there, unlike India where it is front and back. So in case your passport has information on front and back, whichever page it is, make sure you are uploading those files and not the blank ones. So once that is uploaded, employment work letter. If you have employment work letter from your company, you can upload that. If not, you can write to your HR to give an employment letter where basic detail like your name, designation from when you're working, those basic details are there, including the HR's address, and you can upload that. In case you're self-employed, then on a blank piece of paper, you can write that you're self-employed and the address what is mentioned is your own address, and then give specific detail on nature of work what you do. So that should take care. In case you're a housewife, then just write housewife and that should be okay. So once that is done, you can upload that document here for the employment work letter. For the Indian origin proof, you select the proof from here and the previous Indian passport of self in case it is you, and then make sure you're uploading the front, back and where it is written cancelled. So that you need to upload. In case you want to be extra cautious, you can make this into a one single PDF file along with your surrender certificate and upload. It is not required, just in case you want to have it done, because you would be sending the surrender certificate as a physical photocopy along with the application. This is done, and then if you're married, you would upload your marriage certificate. Anytime you have to upload a document, this has to be in a PDF file, and there is a maximum size limit. As I showed, you can check the size limit the way I had showed previously for the photo. However, to make a PDF document, come to file and here you can create a custom size. So the typical A4 size is make it 11 inch by 14 inch. So you now know that typically this is how the page will be. And then what you do is your document image, if you have taken that on a phone, that document image you drag and drop. So once that is done, you can just adjust and you will be able to see that the image what you have pasted here is clear or not. Make sure it is clear, and then you can keep adding the page and dropping other document. For example, now we have these 3 documents. Okay. So once this is there, go to share, and here when you download, you have to select PDF standard. So this is the one which can be used for sending email. Once you select this and you download, see this is the downloaded image, and this is 259 KB, which is well within the requirement. Once we open this, this is the document. So you can keep adding as many as page and make it into PDF this way. So you see all these 4 documents have been uploaded, and you can re-upload this, but there is a limit allowed. So in fact, re-upload 5 times, and document you can view 3 times, after which it is not allowed. So be careful before you upload. Make sure you check, recheck, cross-check, and only then you upload. Once this is done, final submit and generate registration form. So now your document has been sent and you got the PDF version with which you have to submit along with the supporting document further for the process. And as I said before, after submission, you realize that you have made a mistake. Don't worry, you can go and create a new application. Make sure you are sending the right file number along with the supporting document, and it should all be good. And also, I have tried to give you input to best of my ability. I am a human. I could make mistake. In case you find something, please use the comment section, and that will help anyone who is coming to watch this video. And even if you have minutest detail, call up the service provider, because they are the receiving people who will have your document. So you can confirm with them what documents are required, and that way it'll save a lot of time and energy for you, especially the costly mistake if people make and end up paying more money. Here's the completed application. So all these pages are here. Make sure to take printout of all page. There are 7 page, and including instruction for filling of application form. Frankly speaking, if you ask me, the printout is not required, but people have been charged $5 per page by the service provider for not having this. So make sure you take all 7 page printout. Here is the service provider for Canada. You'll have to select your country and check who the service provider is. And if you look at this India Visa Application Center in Canada, here they have given the jurisdiction. Toronto has Manitoba, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland. So if you are from these places, and they have also given detail like Ontario accept applicant residing at postal code starting with letter K, and Quebec accept applicant residing at postal code starting with letter J, H, and K. Go through this to find which jurisdiction you belong to. So Ottawa, they have given a long list here, and same with Vancouver. So this way you can find for your country, your jurisdiction, and then proceed with the application. So I will choose Toronto. Once I proceed, this website, you have this OCI section. So we'll click on the checklist, and once you click on the checklist, you will come here. The jurisdiction shows Toronto, so your jurisdiction will be shown. And then once you come and get this drop down for the checklist, we will not be going through minor and spousal ground. It's a separate video. If you were previously Indian or parents were Indian, then you make a selection accordingly. And once you make the selection, the checklist would open. Now we are on the checklist. Filling up of application form we completed by going to this website. So the application form has been done, and we are preparing and collecting document. Now these are the mandatory document: B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and L. If you are doing a walk-in to the service center, you will carry application form and all the document. All other documents will be photocopy. Photograph will be, of course, the photograph. Otherwise, all other document will be photocopy, self-attested. That means you sign on that photocopy. And during the walk-in, you also carry all the original, including marriage certificate. We will go one by one. And when you carry all the originals, you will avoid the hassle of going for a premium lounge service, and you will get less hassle because you will have all the required document with you. If you are sending by courier, no original document to be sent. Your passport, that is, if you are from Canada, you don't send your Canada passport, and you don't send your citizenship certificate original. Everything goes as a photocopy. If you send it, forget it. You will not get it. So don't make that mistake. The printout of duly filled application form, there are 7 pages. Take print of all 7 pages. Even though only 4 pages you have filled, the remaining 3 are instructions. Take a print. Otherwise, the service center will ask you to take a print, and you will pay additional $5 each page. Surrender certificate. Take a copy of surrender certificate, take a photocopy, do a self-attestation, carry original if you're going in person. Same thing for the cancelled surrendered India passport, the front and back page where all your information is there, and one page where it shows cancelled. If it shows in front and back page, those pages should do the job. Again, self-attested and mandatory declaration. Depending on each country, the format is different. There is no consistent format. But basically, they are asking for voter ID and ration card. Once we click here, You see, this is for Canada. So you give the reference number and then you give the detail. So here it is your file reference number, which is your application number. And once you have done with that and you have given this in writing, this text, signature, name and date. So this should do your declaration part. Certificate of foreign citizenship. So your citizenship certificate, photocopy you have to submit. And here you have to clearly mention the date of obtaining foreign citizenship. So make sure you don't miss out on this. Again, self-attested. Then your current foreign passport, you will submit the copy. And if you're from Canada, it will only be one page where your information is there. Self-attest that. Then registered marriage certificate if you're married. And this will be, and here it says if the applicant's spouse name has been written on applicant's India passport as spouse, then registered marriage certificate is not required under fresh OCI application category for adults. You never know. Just attach a copy, do a self-attestation and be done with that. Copy of spouse current passport if married. So if spouse also has become citizen of the country, then that passport will go. If spouse is still Indian, then the Indian passport copy of spouse would go. Again, self-attested by you and your spouse. COPR copy, self-attested, and then professional detail of applicant. I had made mention at start of the video. Just make sure you have those documents organized and make that into one document and keep that. For proof of address, if you have driving license where your address would be, that's the easiest one. If not, then government issued photo ID like the Ontario government issues for the province. You can attach that with the address. And that's why I said whatever document goes here, the application form has to match exactly same detail what is getting filled in the application. Or you also have option for the utility bill. Phone bills, bank statement are not accepted as address proof. Then we come down, photograph, we looked at this in detail. And then the fee section. I'm on Consulate General of India Toronto website. Whichever country you are, you'll have to go to that website and see what the fee is. And here you can see for the new OCI registration for the Toronto jurisdiction, it is 376 Canadian dollar. And this has to be paid through bank draft only in favor of the Consulate General of India, Toronto. This is one part. The Consulate General of India, Toronto, $376. And then BLS, who is the service provider, again, in your case, it could be a different service provider. They will have a service charge. In case of BLS, the service charge is only $1.70. I made a video of how my friend only paid that amount and did not opt for their postal service. So BLS also offers a postal service, pick up and drop. Here, make a note that applicant may note that postal service is an optional service. As such, an applicant may choose to only send their application to BLS by post, but collect their document back in person at BLS center. So my friend, he ensured that he's only picking up from the BLS center and he only paid $1.70. You can check that video. In such cases, applicant may pay only for postal charge for home to BLS center and not a vice versa. So remember this point when you're dealing with the service provider. Again, if you're going for postal service, BLS will send you the link for the payment to be done and then will send a service like Purelator for the document to be picked up. Don't send any original document like passport, birth certificate or citizenship certificate. You will not get it back. Only photocopy to be sent. When you're going in person, carry every original with you, but bring it back immediately. Now, in addition to that, I made a video of how you must ask for the breakdown, and that way you will get to know what actually you have paid. I was in for a surprise where I was charged for services which I had not availed. And then BLS promptly refunded the amount once I made the escalation. Again, when you're getting the demand draft made with the bank is going to charge you service fee. It could be approximately $10 per demand draft. You could just ask bank for a waiver and they would be more than happy to oblige. In my case, I never had to pay this fee anytime I went with the OCI application or surrender certificate. So just ask the bank and they will be more than happy to waive it off. And once this is done, all is good. You have submitted your application, be it physical or by post. You'll have to wait for 4 to 6 weeks at least for the OCI to come. And then once it is there with you, congratulations, you can now go to India anytime you want.